course, we all know about the plight of levees and water control structures and flood control devices here in Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish. Let's concentrate on Terrebonne today. Coastal Day here in Terrebonne Parish. A lot of dignitaries starting to gather. A lot of work has been done. I don't want to say millions of dollars, I want to say billions of dollars that have gone to help the flooding problem here in the parish. We caught up with several officials today to talk about what this means to the parish and how much longer and how much further we need to go till we can I say totally rest? Never, but to rest because of storm floods.
You know, we can't build anything, we can't do anything with coastal restoration, hurricane protection, without the Corps of Engineers. We cannot dredge the H&C, or we cannot dredge channels without permit from the Corps of Engineers, and they've been great to work with. And, along with, I want to give a thank you to Chip Klein and the CPRA gang, Bryn Haas, for getting us as far as we can. Before him, you had Jerome Zarang, an executive director, and also Garrett Graves. I sat on a CPRA along with Reggie Dupre. Also, we had Norby Jabez sit on it, and Bourgeois, Dwayne Bourgeois sat on it, Corey Keefe. We've had numerous ones sit on the CPRA to help bring Terrebonne, Lafourche to Louisiana where we at. You know, I want to thank the numerous engineers. You know, without the engineers working with us and making it happen, you know, we wouldn't be as far as we are. And, you know, the Boganza to the Gulf, 80 miles of levees, 14 floodgates, and then with the parish building 31 new pump stations, lock systems, barrier islands, and marsh restoration. I want to thank Conoco, Shell Oil, Apache for terracing. Shell also donated 4,139 acres for our 118 system, which we broke ground on the other day. You'll see it come up here in a few minutes. That was designed by GIS. And, you know, we built pump stations from 66-inch to 48-inch to 42-inch to 30-inch to 24-inch with all electric backup generators. We are presently working on a long-distance sediment pipeline to bring sediment from Horseshoe Bend and Crewboat Cut into Chafalaya to western Terrebonne, central Terrebonne, east Terrebonne, and eastern Lafourche Parish.
So moving on here a little bit. So we want to present a few awards. I want to say something in the process of doing this. You know, Gordy appointed me to the levee board, geez, almost 20 years ago now. I was young when he appointed me. And, you know, I'm so proud of him and what he's done, as not only as a state rep, but as a parish president. You know, we used to go do fun stuff. You know, we'd go out of town with our wives and stuff, right? And we'd go on trips. And Gordy was always so worried to leave more than 2 days because that meant that the council member would take over and be in charge after, was it 2 days, Gordy? Something like that? So I don't think he's left more than 2 days in the last 8 years because he wanted to be in control. And I've never seen anybody, I always tell my wife, and my wife showed up here just recently. I don't know where there you are, my grandbaby and all. And I always tell my wife, I'm so proud of him because the one thing on his mind all the time, no matter what takes place, is Terrebonne Parish and how to build pump stations, get the water out, and build levees, Morganza and the interim levees. And so the first award we want to give is to Gordy Dove for all the years of his service. And Reggie, we had you all food, huh, Gordy? You thought it was somebody else, huh? Yep, so this is, so basically from Tanner McGee, all the state legislator. Z, come up here, man. Come over here. Orange, y'all good? Come on, y'all come over here. All right, and so what it says, State of Louisiana House of Representatives, it says, whereas, boy, I can't even see anymore. It is most fitting to recognize Gordon E. Dove and to commend his public service to the citizens of Terrebonne Parish and the state of Louisiana. Whereas Gordon E. Dove has dedicated the past 20 years of his life to safeguarding and revitalizing the Louisiana coast, leaving an indelible impact on his community, state, and nation. And whereas Mr. Dove served as a state representative from 2004 to 2016, during which time he had admirably, chaired the House Committee on Natural Resources. We're going to have to hold this up. All right, here we go. And played a vital role in the creation of the Office of Coastal Protection Restoration, Act 523, which later evolved into the Coastal Protection Restoration Authority. And whereas recognized the crucial importance of coastal protection and restoration to Louisiana, Mr. Dove spearheaded the passage of key legislation such as the Barrier Island Protection and Restoration Program and Fund, and the Coastal Passes Protection and Restoration Program and Fund. Whereas through his career, Mr. Dove further demonstrated his commitment to the betterment of Louisiana's coast by authorizing legislation that secured over $1 billion in funding for coastal restoration and protection, and that ensured the implementation of vital projects aimed at preserving our valuable marsh habitats and defending against erosion and hurricanes. Whereas Mr. Dove's recent leadership during the devastating Hurricane Ida showcased an unwavering commitment to the safety and well-being of the people of Terrebonne Parish, effectively coordinating efforts to secure floodgates and water control structures, implementing necessary measures to mitigate damage, and working diligently in the storm's aftermath to facilitate recovery and rebuilding, all of which contributed to the protecting the community and the storm's destructive impact. Therefore, says Tanner McGee, do hereby commend Gordon E. Dove for his public services to the citizens of Terrebonne Parish and the state of Louisiana. Do hereby further recognize his unwavering commitment to the coastal protection and restoration and community development, which has made an immeasurable difference for the state and exemplifies the highest ideals of public services, and do hereby extend sincerest wishes that he continue to prosper in all of his endeavors for many years to come.
Thank you. Well, I really came over here to give an award, and I ended up getting one, so thank y'all, each and every one of you. I really wasn't expecting it, and like I said, I was here to read an award for somebody else, and I'm really, really shocked at this. I've enjoyed, I've enjoyed and I've worked along with all these guys and gals up here to make Terrebonne Parish a better place, to make Louisiana a better place. And we brought in over $1 billion, and Terrebonne's a safer place today. So thank y'all. God bless y'all. And I really wasn't expecting this. Thank y'all.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for the opportunity to join you here for the Terrebonne Coastal Day. Really excited to join this amazing team of teams that you have across here with our outstanding non-federal sponsors, CPRA, along with the levee and conservation districts, the parish leadership, and the state leadership here as well. Excited to talk to you about the great work that we are working alongside with your U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to help protect life, property, and prosperity in this region. Do we go to the next slide? So just to talk about this amazing Morganza the Gulf storm risk reduction system that has been developed and in the process of being developed. It is such an impressive project in regards to not only its magnitude, but more importantly, the positive impact it's going to have for the region and the area. at the end of the day, when you look at what will be constructed, 98 miles of levee, 23 plus environmental structures, 22 canal floodgates, 10 roads and railway floodgates, the HNC lock complex, which is being constructed and eventually being operated by the Corps of Engineers. That is impressive. But what's more impressive is the impact that it's going to have. You saw it with Gordy Dove up here. It's going to eventually help protect and reduce risk for 200,000 people. That's 200,000 heartbeats that are going to have the risk reduced in this area, which has seen significant impacts due to tropical events. Also to include 52,000 structures that will also see reduced risk. That is huge. And more importantly, you all have identified this and have skin in the game. You've already constructed, as you heard, 80 miles to an interim level of protection, seeing significant results to the tune of an investment at the state and local level at $1 billion. But at the same time, the area is still at risk. So it is imperative that we continue to work together to achieve that 1% level of risk reduction in this area and achieve the design elevations. It's amazing. You look behind you, you can see what the local and state efforts have achieved to date, going to 15 feet in some of those levels. That's pretty impressive. But once we get to design elevations, there are going to be some sections that are going to be all the way up to 21.5 feet, 6.5 feet from the top of that blue tape that you see there. The positive impacts that that is going to have in this region is going to have national impact. And I'm excited to be a part of the team that's helping deliver that alongside our local and state partners.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health Systems, modern technology and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights. Of course, we all know about the plight of levees and water control structures and flood control devices here in Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish. Let's concentrate on Terrebonne today. Coastal Day here in Terrebonne Parish. A lot of dignitaries starting to gather. A lot of work has been done. I don't want to say millions of dollars. I want to say billions of dollars that have gone to help the flooding problem here in the parish. We caught up with several officials today to talk about what this means to the parish and how much longer and how much further we need to go till we can I say totally rest? Never, but to rest because of storm floods.
And as such, you can see at the total level, we're seeing a $5 billion investment, of which federally we're going to be contributing $3.2 billion, and to date, through both bipartisan infrastructure law, community funding, and New Start construction, we have $440 million that we are putting to work. We are excited that you can see there that we started our initial construction project, our first one, the Humboldt Canal preload. We broke the ground on that in December of last year, and it's going to be complete by September of this year. And that will have us poised and ready to award a construction contract for that floodgate in 2027. That's looking to be like a $52 million project, but that's just a taste of things to come. Let's go to the next slide. As you can see, we have 12 projects under design, funded for either design and construction throughout. And all of this is working at breakneck speed. The majority of these features that you see listed, they're going to be complete with design between 2024 and 2026, with construction contracts following closely behind. And your Corps of Engineers is coordinating with your local and state leadership to ensure that we are expressing capabilities to keep this running. So what I'm going to say, at the end of the day, what that tells you, after about 30 to 36 months of pre-award activities, you're going to start seeing significant improvements throughout, while we're also executing environmental compliance for all these projects. So we are excited for the days ahead. Going to the next slide. At the same time, even with those timelines, we understand there's exigency in critical locations, all part of this system. You know, going to the left here on the western side of the system, of course, is Reach A, which is this critical gap to the southwest of Houma. Remember, again, those 2,000 people, those 2,000 heartbeats. How can we close this off as quickly as possible? As such, you know, per the request of the governor, CPRA, state and local leadership, your Corps of Engineers is at what we like to call the bleeding edge of policy to get this constructed as quickly as possible. We've taken an innovative approach where we are conducting that 30 to 36 month supplemental environmental impact statement for the entire 98-mile system, but at the same time, we're doing what's called a tiered environmental assessment on this section so that we can quickly move out. What that's done for us is we've gotten borings and surveys out there 30 months early. That's going to equate to us getting to plans and specs completion through design by April of 2024, and our first construction contract awarded in July of that year. And even with that, we're looking at ways that we can speed up through innovative delivery. We've taken that contract and broken it down into 3 phases. The first phase, we're going to look south of the GIWW and how we can start developing an interim level of risk reduction by emplacement of levee lifts up to 7 feet while still keeping open locations for utilities and environmental flow. But at the same time, that's going to provide you an interim level of risk reduction that you can flood fight off of from an area that previously had none. You know, second contract from there, we're going to move out, we're going to close those gaps off, continue to improve our defensive position, and then from there, award the third one to get us north of the GIW to close off this critical gap across the board. At the same time, going all the way to the eastern side, we also acknowledge Lockport to LaRose is also a critical section to move out on, and we are making phenomenal progress working alongside our local and state partners at the project delivery team level. Right now, the Reach 1 of that section is under design, and we're also coordinating with the North Lafourche Levee District to conduct work in kind on Reach 3 of that section. We're also coordinating with them on our understanding on how to build the GIWW East Floodgate, and we're going through the ship simulations on that as well. So on all fronts, we are moving out so that we can start award construction contracts in about the 2027 timeframe on that. It is amazing to see the synergy and work between the Corps of Engineers, our local teammates, and our partners with the non-federal sponsor CPRA as we are all working together to reduce life or to protect life, property, and prosperity for this region and the nation. And I am excited for the days ahead and as we continue to improve this system for you all, for those 200,000 people, for those 200,000 heartbeats and all those wonderful children that you brought up here at Gordy. So on that note, thank you very much for the opportunity to join you today and excited for the days ahead. Thank you.
Let's give a big round of applause for our CPRA director, Chip Klein.
Thank you, Mr. T. Did this come off? All right, can y'all hear me? All right, good. Well, thank you, Tony. You know, I was thinking on the way down here that when I was first appointed as CPRA chairman back in 2015, my first speaking engagement was at the South Central Industrial Association. And I think it is only fitting that my last speaking engagement as CPRA chairman is Terrebonne Coastal Day. Because I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that you have made an old boy from Clinton, Louisiana, feel like an adopted son of the Bayou region. And it has been one of the greatest honors of my life to work for you, work alongside of you, but most importantly, get to know you and call each and every one of you a friend. And we have done incredible things together. And I want you to think about just 5 years ago, where Terrebonne Parish was 5 years ago. Yeah, there was progress being made, but your barrier islands were almost non-existent. You were in need of several pump stations to help dewater areas. You were losing land in Terrebonne Parish at an incredible rate. You had not a single dime of federal funding for your levee system. And your wildlife refuge and some of your recreational areas in Terrebonne Parish were almost in disrepair. Today, close to $200 million has been invested in your first line of defense in Terrebonne Parish, in restoring your barrier island chain. From East Trinity to Timbalier to West Bell Pass, we are now at a point in time where you have over $400 million in federal funding for Morganza to the Gulf. You continue to see large tranches of state funding come to this area. And this year alone, just on the surplus portion, close to $20 million in excess revenue from last year is coming to Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish for your levee protection system. The restoration projects are now on par to build thousands of acres of land by each project. And I'm not gonna, maybe I'm stealing your thunder here, Mitch, but in just a few weeks, Terrebonne Levee District is going to be going to bid on the largest civil works project in the history of Terrebonne Parish, a close to $300 million lot complex on the Houma Navigation Canal. That's what progress looks like. Those are incredible statistics. And while those are incredible, I think what's most important is why those things happened, how those things happened. And it's because of the people in this room. It's because of the people that you continue to send to Baton Rouge to represent you. It's the people that you have working for you at levee districts. From Tony Alford to Reggie Dupree to Dwayne Bourgeois to Corey Keefe to Wendell Curall, now Nick Mathern, all of those guys have a sense of urgency. Your parish president, he talked about all the things that he's done throughout his career in the legislature. When people in Baton Rouge see people in a specific area of this state have the passion and the dedication to this issue, and they bring a sense of urgency, people at the state level match that sense of urgency. Now, my friend Dwayne Bourgeois told me I could have a little fun here tonight, and I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go a little off script, and I'll tell you a little story about sense of urgency. So just a few months ago, Dwayne and two of my coworkers were meeting with Senator Kennedy and his staff in Washington, D.C., and we were talking about the need that we need more revenue to fund hurricane protection and coastal restoration projects in this state. And then I needed his office to have more of a sense of urgency when it came to this issue. And what I told his office was, I need you to have a fire in your ass. And I thought one of my coworkers was going to fall out of his chair, because he leaned over and he said, Chip, it's not fire in the ass, it's fire in the belly. And I said, well, be that as it may, but if you have a fire in your ass, you're moving. You're going somewhere and you're getting something done. And there is fire in people's asses all over the Bayou region when it comes to this issue. And that's why you continue to see the investment at the state level, and that investment is going to continue. Because if you look out over the next several years, the state of Louisiana now has an updated master plan, which calls for 77 projects across our coast. It allocates $50 billion. And if we build every project within that master plan, 50 years from now, we will have less flood risk than we do today. So you hear all these people in the scientific community and all of these world-renowned experts talk about sea level rise projections and we need to relocate mass portions of our population. But the projects called for within that master plan